Guys, and welcome back to the channel and back to my daily challenge mini series. Today is a general daily challenge, and that is to collect 3 little brown bats. So I just want to show you a couple of my favorite locations and give you some tips on what to look out for. Let's get into it. Location number 1 is going to be the Bulgar Glade Civil War battlefield area around the broken down church. And so the closest fast travel is going to be Rhodes. And then I just head south from there. As soon as you start to hit the Civil War battlefield, you want to keep your ears open and your eyes open, looking toward the sky, because a lot of times I'll get several bats already right there in the open area. That makes it easiest because it's easy to just kind of look up. You hear the sound. They have a very distinct noise. It's just about as annoying as all the boars that you're going to hear in this video, but you can also see the contrails in the sky when you use eagle eyes. So you kind of want to look for that because there's going to usually be a lot of them together. This was a little bit unusual, and I went down there to get bats today with this footage because they were actually all right at the little broken down church, and I could hear them, but I wasn't quite sure where they were. As soon as they started flying off, I was able to get 2 of them. I could still hear that there were other ones there, but typically you would see a grouping of them like 3 to 5 in the sky. There's going to be a lot of contrails just going everywhere because they're flying around. They're little. You're going to hear the noise, and typically it's going to be in that more open area where the Civil War battlefield actually is versus the small church. But all around in that area, you can find bats. I was struggling a bit with the camera angle on this one, so like I said, I only got 2 of them. But this is actually my favorite spot because it's wide open. There's no water that the bats can fall into, and I'm pretty much always able to get 3 bats when I go to this location. Now, of course, make sure that you are looking for bats at night. You won't find them during the day, so you want to go once it's dark outside. Location number 2 is going to be the Blue Water Marsh area. I really like this location because it's very close to the Le Gras fast travel post. Now, there's actually several different areas. You can actually go to the Le Gras fast travel and go the opposite direction that I go in this clip here, and there are bats. I'll show you on the Ropke Map later in a certain area over there. But I like to head more towards the eastern side, more toward where it says Blue Water Marsh, and I usually find them right in along the road, actually, before I even get to that area. In this clip, this first clip here, you can see as soon as I fast travel and start riding down, it starts raining. And if it's raining, typically animals are going to spawn less, especially birds in the sky, bats, things like that. So there are no bats when I'm walking along here in the rain, which is what I suspected. So I actually went to another location to wait for the rains to stop and then came back here. So you can see the second clip it's not raining anymore. And as I'm riding down the road, again, I'm mostly keeping my ears open because once you hear bats, it's very distinctive. And so as soon as I hear that, I know I can start looking up. I can start looking for those contrails. I can start looking for the little tiny animal in the sky. And I know that black bats are going to be right around there. So I do get, I think, 1 or 2 in this location. They usually do come in groupings. So typically in any of these locations, I'll find the 3 that I need and I won't have to visit another one. But it really just depends on how things are spawning. There was actually a person nearby when I fast traveled the second time. I thought that might affect the spawns, but it didn't. There were still bats in the sky there. Now there's another location a little further out. If you go kind of like to the little tip of the peninsula, off of Blue Water Marsh right there on the coast. And this area here, this is the area that you can get like an alcohol bottle in a lot of times there. This is where the pelicans are, if I've shown you the static pelican spawn location. So this is another little good area for bats. And again, it's nice and easy in Blue Water Marsh because it's wide open. If you get close to the coast, it is near water, so you have to be careful about them flying over the water. But again, in these 2 areas, you can find bats in the middle of the night. So in this location in Blue Water Marsh, obviously it is very close to water, and you can see when I arrive, I do hear the bats, and unfortunately they have already started to fly over the water. You can see a pretty good grouping there. I'm not sure how many that is. I didn't take the time to count them, but there's at least 4, 5, 6 there, and sometimes you can get those over land. So it's great because you can get a whole bunch of bats right there. Unfortunately, in this case, like I said, they're over water. Now, a couple of them do turn and fly back, and I'm able to get one of them. And it can be a little bit tricky here just because you've got the cranes are flying around, so there's still those other birds at night. You got the gators there right on the coast. There can be a little bit to contend with, but again, just listen for that distinct sound. Keep your eyes open for the contrails. That it's usually they're all intermixed together because there's usually several of them flying. So it's very distinctive. When you get to know it, you'll instantly know that that's just bats flying around if you don't already. Okay, the final location I'm going to show here is at the Elysium Pool. Now, if anybody ever asks about bats, typically this is the number one recommendation. I know a lot of people recommend this to me all the time. The fast travel is going to be at Van Horn, and then you'll travel out to the Elysium Pool from here, which I show you on the map. Unfortunately, this location doesn't work that great for me. So a lot of people really like it, and I do want to show you where it is. However, if this is your favorite location and you get a lot of bats here all the time, please leave a comment below. Let us know what time of day you typically go, what your strategy is. Do you normally find them flying or hanging at the front entrance, or do you have to go toward the back of the cave and get them back there? Let us know, because this has never been a good spawn for me. I do get bats here occasionally. Sometimes they're flying, sometimes they're hanging at the entrance of the cave, but it's just not a consistent spawn. So this is not my go-to bat spot, and that's okay. That's one reason why I like to show a lot of different locations, is because I don't think a lot of people realize that the game works differently for everybody. And my best spawn location is not necessarily going to be your best spawn location. So I think it's really great that as a community, we can share lots of different spots so that you can find what works best for you. I think a prime example of this is in the Panther video. The very first video I did, I showed one location because that is such a consistent spawn for me that I figured it would be the same for everybody. And this was a while ago when I first started doing videos. And then I quickly realized that no, like some people just can't get a panther to spawn there. And that was so crazy to me because I'm like, man, I get a panther there every time I go. And so I definitely like to show multiple locations now, because I think it's important that if you're struggling in a particular area, you not get frustrated. It just might be that the game's like, nope, that's not your spot. And so try out different areas and see what works for you. So this works really great for a lot of people. And if you're not getting the other spots I showed to spawn bats, like definitely try the cave. And hopefully someone in the comments will leave some suggestions on how to get this one to work a little bit better. Of course, even though I only showed a couple locations in this video, there are bats all over the place, honestly. And so another great resource I've mentioned before is the Ropke Map. There's the two different versions, the collector version if you're getting collectibles, and the RDO version if you're looking for things like events, plant spawns, animal spawns, that sort of thing. Now, bat is found under animal, not birds, but you can mark that and it'll show a few locations. Now, there's not too many locations on this map that you can see. Some of the places we went are actually marked on the map, but there are many other locations that aren't. They're along the coastline, up outside roads, and on the islands there. That's another good spot. There is some more good spots if you fast travel to Emerald Station and you head toward that little river there. A lot of times you'll see bats flying in the air. So honestly, there's bats everywhere. The next time you're riding around at night, just keep your ears open and maybe you'll find a really good location that's not on this map or that I didn't show. That's going to be a good bat location for you. Now, there are no bats in the New Austin area, so you will want to make sure that you are in the top side of the map. And typically, even I do find some over in West Elizabeth, but you're going to be looking more in the New Hanover, Lemoyne area for bats in this. Okay guys, so we've reached the end of the video today. I hope if you've been struggling to find bats that I've given you a few new locations to try or some tips on how to find those bats a little bit easier. Of course, I only mentioned a couple locations in this video. There are a lot more good bat locations on the map. And if you have a really good spot I didn't mention in this video, I'd love if you'd leave a comment and let us know where that is. For everybody else, keep in mind, of course, you do have to go at night. So make sure you're going once the sun has set. So after after 8 or 9. I do find them all the way up until about 5:30 a.m. as the sun is coming up, so you can get them as the sun is starting to rise, but keep in mind the spawns will fall off right after that. So if you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave it a like. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.